Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another session of the 17th annual Transforming the Teaching and Learning Environment virtual conference. Hate to say it, but I'm Bob Ailes and I'm still your moderator. We have with us today Dr. Frank Schindelheim. He's an associate professor at Touro University's Graduate School of Education. He often presents at national and international education conferences on topics such as classroom management, special education advocacy, dealing with classroom disruptions, and motivating strategies for the online instructor. Classroom distractions. In high school, a freshman taught history was the baseball coach. If you weren't paying attention, he would throw a baseball at you.
Good strategies.
They, things have changed a little.
Hey,
Fortunately, I like the class, paid attention. So one day, just for the heck of it, he threw a baseball at me, but I caught it. Anyway, but I digress. Uh, so Frank, as you can see, is going to talk about tips to maximize motivation in the online classroom. Frank, it's all yours.
okay. Hi, everyone. Let me just preface our presentation with a few things about myself, and then, I'd like to get to know you. I treat my presentations as if it's my live class, and you'll see why. So if you want to get your camera on and come on and participate, certainly I welcome that. My name is Frank Schindelheim. I'm from the Northeast. My university is Touro University. As I explained to Bob, we have a medical school, law school, graduate education, school of graduate education, and an undergraduate school. So we're pretty busy up here, and we're actually an international university. My expertise is my background is before I became a associate professor at Touro, I was in charge of counseling division in the New York City Department of Education and crisis counseling in the city. As you probably know, it's probably pretty busy as far as crises go. So this is kind of an interactive presentation, which I really enjoy doing. I like to get to know my students if I'm teaching a graduate class or if I'm doing professional development, I like to get to know the participants. So if you want to turn the cameras on and we can get to know you, jump in and certainly get involved. One of the things I do, and I do podcast, and I'm up until very recently, I had a very good podcast, and it arose out of COVID. We're all stuck in our houses and in our communities. Well, not even communities, in our own little cocoons. And naturally, as an educator, I was doing Zoom classes and things like that. I had a former student, he was a teacher. I teach graduate school, as I said, and he was going for his master's, and this goes back several years. And he was also a stand-up comic, and he's still a teacher. Um, his name is Gaspar Randazzo, and he was on a Netflix special on one of those reality shows called The Trust. I think he won. He does stand up all around the country, and yet he still manages to get into school and teach social studies every day. And part of the whole thing is the way, how do you motivate these kids? So, he certainly does with humor and a lot of, a lot of other things that he does. The reason I'm bringing that up is that I realize that interactivity online is really exciting. I don't know what you guys teach, and maybe we'll get to know each other because it's only an hour. But I'd like to, I like to get to know my participants before I start the presentation. So if you want to jump in and say hello to me, you can. If you want to have any questions, certainly, you know, rather than chat, it's a small group. You could just raise your hand in the chat box, and I'll entertain questions. But right now, I want to talk about online classes. I teach online. I teach school counseling online. And obviously, one of the criteria to really determine how we're successful is by our student evaluations. If we all teach graduate school, I'm sure we're all, or undergraduate school, we're aware of student evaluations. And I always get great evaluations because I get very involved with my students, even though it's online, it's in cyberspace. You know, you say, well, they're online. How do you get to know them? Well, I'm going to give you some tips. And then we'll talk about it. Then I have a little video to show you and a couple of things like that. And then I'm going to open it for questions. So why don't we get started? And I just recorded this a while back, and let's see if I can get it started and see if you guys could see it. Okay, let's see. I'll do it as a slideshow. You'll see it. Can you all see the screen? Okay, thank you. So let me just. Okay. Well, here we go. Slideshow. Okay.
Tips to maximize motivation in the online classroom. Educators are reflective practitioners. They thrive in shared learning communities. The strategies and techniques presented can be turnkey and offered to teaching professionals in all disciplines at all levels. They're a vital tool in personalizing the asynchronous course environment. Research has conclusively shown that technology tools are an important motivator for online teaching professors. The use of video technology, along with other available tools, such as discussions, announcements, quizzes, etc., have proven to be necessary resources for the instructor as well as the student. Face-to-face classroom instructors have the advantage of interacting with their students on a regular basis in a proscribed period of time. Not so in the asynchronous learning environment. In this presentation, the presenter demonstrates how online instructors can maximize the use of video technology to enhance the online experience. Video tools are built into the discussion boards on all learning management systems. They provide valuable enhancements to the online learning experience. Use video to personalize the asynchronous course experience. Explore the benefits of recording video micro lectures, as well as learn how to use video apps to motivate online students to post videos that invite interaction from their peers and professors. A micro lecture is a short recorded audio or video presentation on a single, tightly defined topic. If you've ever watched a Khan Academy and TED Ed style video, then you've essentially watched a micro lecture. Use Zoom to create a video introduction and micro lecture. First, open the Zoom app. Then choose a virtual background. Hit record. When lecture or introduction is complete, go to End Meeting. Now, a Zoom menu will ask to save to cloud or computer. Make sure to hit computer to save on your own personal computer. Once you save it, title the video. For instance, call it Module 1 Introduction.
Okay, we're going to end that show right now. And before I go into the next part, which is another video I made about this, if there are any questions, and this is it's very broad. This could be an entire course, but I just want to kind of tease you. I know probably every one of you, if you're in a classroom, uses some form of creativity to get to your students. And I really would like to discuss that. So if you want, you can ask questions anytime. So if you have a question about those particular slides, fire away and we could talk about it. If not, I want to show you another video. Okay, let me see. Just bear with me. I want to get out of this and let's go into this. Do you all see that? Can you see that? Can you see the screen? Just give me a thumbs up if you can. No?
Yeah, yes, we can see it.
You see my beautiful visage there? Okay, here we go.
I have the distinction of teaching courses in two disciplines, the Special Education Master's Degree Program and the School Counseling Master's Degree Program. Due to candidate time constraints and their familiarity with hybrid and Zoom classrooms, we are moving more toward the asynchronous world of instruction. The online classroom certainly has its advantages due to several factors, such as no commuting time and working at one's own pace. But we're seeing disadvantages, particularly the impersonal nature of an asynchronous course. In this presentation, I'm going to illustrate how to better personalize an asynchronous course to at least attempt to simulate the personal nature of face-to-face instruction. A key component in effective teaching technique is the use of micro lectures.
Hello, this is Serena. Hate to interrupt, but I don't think we can actually see
Tightly defined topic.
All right.
or
Okay, so
video recording.
let me just fix that. Thank you for telling me, Serena. Let's go into share, and I think I have to adjust the sound. Okay, and let's share it again. Can you see it now, Serena?
Different thing. We see your face now, so I think perhaps we will be able to.
According to Brianna Baxter, who has researched these techniques,
If you ever watched the Khan Academy, or
just a second. Did you hear it now? Do you hear the audio? Somebody just tell me. I kind of lost everybody.
Yes, we're giving you thumbs up.
Yes.
TED Ed style video, then you've essentially watched a micro lecture. Here are some examples of micro lectures that I've inserted into some of my course modules. I use various video platforms such as Zoom, Flipgrid, and the video discussion tool that's found in all learning management systems. Hi everyone, welcome to Module 7. We're going by really quickly, and hopefully we're learning a lot of techniques. Some of the counseling techniques we've done already are very, very interesting, very important, especially when we're dealing with youngsters and their families. One of the big counseling techniques, or the most important that you're going to be using, is called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Hi everyone, we're now in Module 7 and we're really rolling along here. Module 7 begins on Monday. Okay, so look at the overview and see what's required in Module 7. That's pretty important. And let's talk about the learning activities for Module 7. This is going to be a real interesting week because we're going to be talking about the family interview. Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, so we're on Module 5 now. The effects on fathers, siblings, and the extended family, providing support services for them. Let's talk about Module 5. First of all, very important, we have several assignments and things that going forward. Hi everyone, we're now at Module 4, starting on Monday. Cultural diversity in families and their reaction to disabilities. Everyone has different reactions to disabilities, and every culture reacts differently to disabilities. So it's about the family resource binder. Okay, so the resource binder, I've discussed this before. It provides a family that was interviewed with an organized body of information that you gathered and tailored to their particular needs. Hi everyone, well, we're finally coming to an end to this terrific semester. I hope you've all learned some great techniques about counseling. That was my job, just to get you guys to learn the techniques and practice it. The typical problem facing our online students is that they feel asynchronous coursework is often impersonal. Quite often they feel a course is laid out in a learning management show like Blackboard or Canvas, and they just need to follow directions about the readings, learning materials, and activities. This leads to questions such as, why do I need a professor? Does the professor even know me? Or statements like the course overview is too vague. A great way to overcome these problems is to create a video introduction for each module. Hi everyone, welcome to class. A lot of you have been in my class before, so you do know me, and you do know my what I require in class. I get to know you through these little videos. I need every one of you to post this. It is worth 5 points, so just make sure you post an introduction. Tell us who you are, what you do, what school you work in, and what your hobbies and interests are. And to be sure the candidates watch your introduction, post an announcement stating that they need to look at your video module overview.
I feel like I definitely get a lot out of viewing Dr. S's video lectures every week for every module, and seeing him actually speak about the assignments that we have to do definitely helps me understand them better, because most times on online courses it's very hard because it's not face to face. And better through seeing him speak about it.
Hi everyone, it's Jewel. I just wanted to jump in on this conversation about Lee Cantor's assertive discipline and his technique. I think that this method is actually a really good one for teachers to
Hello everyone, this is Ryan. I did watch Dr. S's video on Module 8 where he discussed Logical Consequences by Rudolf Dreikurs and what our assignment for the week will be.
Okay, so let's see if can you guys see me? I'm having a lot of problems today on Zoom. Do you hear me? No.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
We can hear you.
We can hear you and see you.
Oh, great, because for some reason, I'm having difficulty with Zoom, and I shouldn't be because I'm supposed to be the expert. Anyway, I have a few more things I want to talk about with that. Any questions right now? And certainly, if you guys want to just get online or, get your cameras on and jump in, because as I said, I like to treat this as a kind of like a podcast that we see so much today, because this is the way we are communicating today. We're interacting with our students. Are we all, we're all educators, I take it, right? And we have several folks in here, and I see there's some chat. So anybody want to start, or I could actually start a question and answer. Let's see the chats. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, we have someone at Penn State, University Park. Oh, okay. Okay, so we don't have any questions yet. Does anybody here, or do you use video in your online instruction? And you could just jump in and add to this. I'm just curious about that. How are you doing online instruction, if indeed you are doing it? Okay, so I have not. I tried, so it didn't work. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Anne, you want to jump in? You have a comment on that? Does everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, great.
I could jump in, Frank. So yeah, I've been teaching online for about 14 years. So I'm a full-time online faculty, and so that's primarily the way that I deliver course content. And so yes, I use video every week, basically to create mini lectures like you've talked about today. Something that I used to use quite a bit, which I found very helpful, but it's no longer available, is Flipgrid, or then they changed their name to Flip. So I'm not sure if you had heard of that, but I've been using. Okay, yeah. So Flip's gone now. I've been using it since I think 2016, and then we lost it about a year, 2 years ago after Microsoft bought it. I knew it was going to happen. And they basically just took the Flip camera and moved it into Teams, but so we lost Flip. But so I use that quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, my research background is all in social presence, so within the COI framework, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, I always try to make sure to present myself as real as best as possible, and have the students present themselves as real, and doing that through all kinds of ways, not just video, but affective association, using emojis and GIFs, and addressing them by their name and trying to get them to interact with their peers in that way. Just encouraging those peer interactions, creating a space of trust and collaboration, and making sure students feel a sense of belonging. One of the big problems that I came from a K-12 background and then taught on ground trad and then moved into online. And one of the big problems I had was proximity. In a ground class, especially with middle schoolers, the closer I am to a student, the more likely they are to stay on task. The further away I am, the more likely they are to be off task. And so I was always trying to figure out, how do I create proximity in the online classroom? And that's where social presence came into play and really helped me quite a bit over the last 14 years.
The next one, that
That's exactly what, Tom, you kind of like segued into my next segment of this is now the Flipgrid is gone, and all of a sudden they just pulled it out. You're right. And it said it's part of Microsoft Teams, and it's really very difficult to assess. You're right. So what do? So I found something, and actually my university has it on their external tools. It's called VoiceThread. So I made a little video on VoiceThread. So folks, I don't have any handouts, obviously, so take notes if you want. And here's a little video on VoiceThread. And thank you for that segue, Tom. That was excellent, because maybe you'll appreciate this. Have you heard of it?
Yes. Yep, I have.
So let's see if I can share screen and show you guys my VoiceThread. Here we go. Okay, can you all see that? Let's maximize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just see if we get good sound on this, because this is kind of like a short little video. Okay, give it a shot.
To use for your online courses. Download the app at www.voicethread.com. In Canvas, you can easily access VoiceThread by hitting the plus sign at the top of a module. There you can select External Tool and hit VoiceThread if your institution uses it. Otherwise, you can download the app and add it to your module. As you can see, there are several ways to access the app. Once you sign in, make sure to hit Course View so your students will have access to VoiceThread. Once in Course View, you'll be able to title your activity. In this slide, I title my Course View activity as Introduce Yourself. I find this to be a terrific icebreaker in the first module. The students will be able to see their peers and interact with them. There is an option to allow comments where you and your students can insert comments in each VoiceThread slide. Here's an example of a student introduction.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah Wellington. I am 27 years old. I am currently a teacher's assistant in a 5th grade 1212 special ed class. I've been in the school that I'm at for about 2.5 years now. This is the first time that I've ever worked in a school. I've always had jobs that, dealt with kids, but this is the first time I've been in a school, and I absolutely love it. This is where I was supposed to be all my life. And I just recently got my master's in psychology in December, but I just decided school counseling is better for me. It'll be a better fit for me. So yeah, it's my second semester with Turo, and I love this program. I'm excited to discuss a lot of new things with you guys, and I'm just overall excited.
Okay, so that's a great app. If everyone is, not everyone, but there are questions on now, on how do you use it? Okay, so do you provide instruction on how to use VoiceThread and let students explore it on their own? Well, and I see Serena, you have your hand up too. I'll get to you in a second. The point is, it is so easy, because once you embed it in your course, all they have to do is highlight the link. Let's assume you say, introduce yourself. All they need to do is highlight the link and then in the app itself, there'll be a little plus sign and it says add voice thread. And it becomes endemic. They're all going to do it. They love doing it. And I do it with every class, and I do it a lot. Serena, you have your hand up.
I do. Any thoughts on how to translate this to different student populations? Mine's quite different than yours. I saw that you had, I don't know, 15 or fewer maybe folks in that class. I have, anywhere up to 100 students there at a 2-year college. They're just starting out often at the college. And I just integrated having them do a few of their discussions using a video or audio format. We just started, so I haven't yet gone through, but that's going to be a huge lift for me to assess 3-minute, videos for 100 students. And that's not even all my classes.
Okay, that's very interesting because I take it that's large lecture halls you're addressing, correct?
No, I have 5 courses that have a max, not a max cap. I mean, my max cap's 54, but it's set to 45 enrollment. It's just such a heavy load to build these relational.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you teach is this purely online or is it face-to-face or hybrid?
So I'm where I've integrated my videos like this, what I just did this semester, and they have 4 of them. It's online, asynchronous online.
So it's asynchronous online and basically five sections or 5 classes, and there are approximately, excuse me. 100.
No. So I have 200 students total. I'm saying 100 asynchronous. I also teach in person.
Okay, all right. So let's address the online. 100 students. Okay.
Yes.
How do you view 100 introductions? Okay. And that is a challenge. I'm going to admit it. My classes generally, and I teach 3 courses a semester, and that's about 60 to 75 students. That's it's a great challenge, and I'm going to send it out to you folks. I know Tom, told us before about his technological things that he does. So maybe Tom, you have an idea because that's a challenge. Agreed. Anybody else have a challenge? How would you get 100 students to participate, assuming we know how to use the VoiceThread app? Do you use any video app, Serena?
So I'm using, they can upload it in any way, but we have Canvas at my college and Studio. It's called the Studio.
Okay.
Canvas, that's what they use.
All right. And you're using Canvas and you could actually, it's embedded in Studio.
Right. So in the discussion, they can just click on the plugin and record.
Okay. Another technique that I found very useful is within the discussion app, they have every every opportunity to click on video discussion. So, they don't have to use text. They can actually use video discussions. And since you are on the discussion page, certainly, you're looking at your students' discussions and you're interacting with them, you might want to encourage them to insert video discussions. And maybe you could try a whole module of just video discussions rather than text discussions. That might be.
Yes. I mean, that's what I've done is I'm requiring them because they always had the option, but they didn't. So what I'm just asking is how is it to have that many students and have them required? So to participate back in the way where they're not just typing.
Right. Well, it is a challenge. And perhaps, your question is right there. It's very relevant. And it also, addresses the fact that look at the student course loads that we do have. Obviously, that's pretty heavy. It's a heavy course load of, all of those students. How do you get to know them? And then, between marking papers, grading them, and just communicating with them to participate in class, that in and of itself is a difficulty. I could see that. So the only thing I could suggest is see if you can download VoiceThread. It's a very appealing kind of app for them because they see, they see everyone. As you saw one of the screens, they see who's ever participating. And if you just make a mandatory insertion in a discussion of VoiceThread where they have to add a VoiceThread, perhaps you can just arbitrarily pick out the ones you just want to see, and and you could do it like that. Looking at 100 obviously is very difficult. So now peer rating. Let's take a look at Nanks. Is it? If you want to jump in on that, because that's interesting. You could get your
Sure. So I teach astronomy, or I co-develop and co-instruct a number of online astronomy courses at Penn State here and for our world campus. So our astronomy course has 4 major units. At the end of each one, there's basically an opportunity for students to kind of summarize the entire unit, but following a particular prompt that gears that summary towards, okay, how would you apply everything you learned from this unit in the case of blank, like discovering an extraterrestrial life form in one case. And our enrollments in a typical fall or spring are anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 totaled across like 5 sections. And there's 3 of us that work together basically on all of them. We hire a number of learning assistants that are actually undergraduates, who, many of whom have just taken these classes before, to assist us with grading assignments, just because like that number is kind of time prohibitive unless you have a lot of hands contributing. So when it comes to getting eyes on everyone's entries in these reflection assignments, we have the students assigned a group of their classmates to go over. And so like the first pass of sort of unofficial grading is done by, their peers. Now for a different kind of assignment, we have their peers do like a preliminary scoring based on the rubric we provide them. So, each student is grading like 10 of their peers for whether their submission met certain criteria, and then the student whose submission it was actually has a chance to revise it based on that feedback before they submit it for the final score. And sort of in that way, ideally, students are giving thoughtful feedback because they know that they're relying on their classmates to give them thoughtful feedback that they can use to kind of improve things all around. But yeah, just with the size of our classes, we have to pretty well like farm out the getting eyes on everything to students, and then they kind of come together to put eyes on like the top ones that emerge from the entire class.
So you basically taking that rubric that you designed through your department, you distribute it to your student raters. So
well, we give it to the students in the class too to evaluate each other's.
Yeah, on evaluation, on peer evaluation. Now, that might answer Serena's question. 100 students. I think that's a great idea where you could actually assign through various means online groups and things like that, where they can evaluate each other, and then possibly if they are grouped. Now we're coming up with a very creative idea here, and thank you for that input. If they're grouped, then they can have one group leader within each group doing a video. So now if there are 10 people in a group and they rate each other, and you want feedback, even if it's not being rated, and you want feedback, then the group leader that you assign, or they can assign, will provide the video. How's
Yeah, we
that?
don't, excuse me.
Yeah.
I was just saying we don't have like a group leader coming out
Well,
of
the
each of
reason I'm
these
saying
groups.
it is because in undergraduate school, she said, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a 2-year school, a 2-year junior college. Serena, am I correct in that? And there were,
Yes, yes. So I can see it both ways. Like you could cut down on the number of overall videos by having a group develop a video, or and then alternatively you can have everybody do it and have peer evaluators. I wouldn't have to do a group of 10, where they're at least getting eyeballs on it, and then we could, I had to think through that second one.
That's very interesting.
But yeah, so I think both of those, they are not in competition. They're both good strategies, and both could be employed. So thank you.
That's very, very interesting. In fact, if you just take it a step further and you have 10 modules or what have you, 15 modules, and you divide the 100 students, let's say 10 or 5 people in a group, and you have 2 videos a week, and every week someone else will do a video. Well, there you go. Most of them are going to get their videos in, and there is another way that they can establish this communication with each other and with you. So I think we're solving that problem. That's
Yes. I want to share what I do. I do have a large class too, almost
Hi,
60
Grace. How
to
are you?
80, almost 60 to 80 students. What I did is I do group project, assign a group, and they have to discuss and videotape. They send the videotape as a evidence that they have done discussion, but along that, they have to provide 2 pages of summary of the key points that they did in the discussion. So I only look at the 2 page of summary of the whole group discussion.
You don't have to scroll through. That's interesting. You don't have to scroll all the way through all your discussions to find the salient points. That's very good. So a 2-page summary. That works.
And sometimes some of the assignment, I limit them to make it like 8 to 12 PowerPoint slides with the 10-minute narration only. So
Excellent, excellent. Oh, this is great. See, this is what I'm talking about when I said before, we're all getting involved now because we're piquing interest on a lot of us, and that's the way we have to do it. Peer. We're doing peer assessments here. Okay, all could summarize in their video. Okay, 5 sections. We have somewhere between. Oh, these are great chats. Anybody else want to jump in on this and talk about some of this? And if not, I could share something else. I just want to show you a video, and it's only 2 minutes or less, of a student responding on what it's like to take an online class. It's a great evaluation, and she's in one of my classes, and I actually said, you got to make a video. You're so excited and so happy to be in the class. So let me see if I could share it with you, and show you that particular video. Just bear with me. My share screen is okay. Hold on for 1 second. Let's see. Okay, so let's see if we can just. Let's see this one. I'll share this in a second. Okay. Let's see. Share it. Share screen.
My name is Shyla Martin. I am a graduate student at Torrey University. I am studying my passion, school counseling, and of course it's online. It has its benefits for a person, or for anybody who takes online classes, but for a person in my lifestyle, I am a full-time parent. I have a family. I work a full-time job on top of me being all over the place in my multi hats and not knowing to say no to no one. Always wanted to help somebody. So it benefits me to put my time aside to do my discussions and to do my assignments on my time. But I can definitely say that we are missing that social piece. And I think that's the part that we're missing, is that more interacting part, being able to be more personal, we're in a digital age. we could be in front of a phone, we could be in front of a computer just for a couple of minutes, like Dr. S. He does his introductions at every class, every beginning of the class, of the semester, and then he does like little points of in the semester of like, stop, how do you feel, what's going on? I think that's essential because I like to know my students. I would think you would want to know who I am, who's behind that paper, what does that mean? So we're missing that, and I think maybe putting in a little bit, not so much because people do online classes because it's on their time, but maybe some check-ins, a mental check-in. Hey, stop, pause, what's going on?
Okay, so that's just a little testimony of how some of these students feel. And because I was a face-to-face teacher for so long, and then obviously we were taken aback with the pandemic, so we had to adapt. And I still enjoy it as much as face-to-face because of this involvement. So that's basically it. Any questions? Any questions? Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to jump in and add something, because this is really a very vital subject, and you folks are right there, and you're right there on boots on the ground. So look at the ideas we had just in 45 minutes that some of you contributed to. So if that's that's basically what I have to tell you guys. Anybody else? Anybody have anything to say? We have a few minutes. And certainly it's nice to get to know you. I see that we have 13 participants. That's great. And I hope you got something out of it. I did, getting to see my folks all around the country. Now I see, Max, you were in Penn State. Am I correct? You could just jump in again because I have a question to ask you about that. And
Yeah.
maybe
Well, actually, getting back to the point of just getting to know our students, I mean, given the class size, we don't have like live Zoom meetings or anything, not with those numbers. But what we do is the group of 3 of us instructors, we have a Zoom meeting, a Zoom room that is open pretty much all the time, except for like late night or something like that. And at pretty much at any given time, like morning to late evening, weekdays at the least, at least one of us is in there at any time. And we just give that as like drop-in hours for any student. They don't have to make an appointment with us. They know the Zoom link. It's right there on the front page in Canvas and so on. So and we tell them, it's like, if you're ever stuck on something, if you have any questions, just don't just drop right in. You don't have to try and confirm an appointment by email or anything. So we tend to meet the students who are the ones that are more engaged from the get-go. And of course, we tend to meet a lot more of them at the start of the semester when everybody's settling in, kind of learning how the whole system works and so forth. But then you have the students that are repeat visitors and so on. So you do get to know a few of them, but it's overall still kind of a small fraction of those several thousand in a given term.
Your input is invaluable. I'm looking at the chats, and this is terrific. If you guys can cut and paste some of the things that Max is recommending, I mean, it's really very important. Thank you. Your input is terrific. Thank you very much. I hope we got something out of this, folks. Any other questions? We do have a couple of minutes, and as I said, if we're still online, you want to cut and paste some of the things he's writing. It's really very good. And I see John said, great example. Yeah, it is a great example. Anyone else? Well, I hope you got something out of this. I really enjoy it. And you could get me at franklin.schindelheim@touro, TOURO.edu. I will put it in the chat over here.
Oh, Frank, thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much, Bob. It was very, very enlightening. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay, good. Folks, don't forget, got a session in a little more than an hour. Also, don't forget our sponsor is the journal Educators Online. Tomorrow in the noon time slot, Central Time, they're going to be there for about 20 minutes to talk about the journal and how you could be involved, that kind of thing. I know I'd appreciate if you make an appearance at least. It's anyway, just so you know about that. Okay. It's almost lunchtime for me. I'm going to get lunch. Thank you all.